Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the St. Mary Parish School Board, January 9th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. in the Evan Medine Meeting Room. Dr. Fagenbush, please call roll.
Ms. Brent? Here. Ms. Moore? Present. Ms. Anselm? Present. Ms. Jones? Here. Ms. Griffin? Here. Ms. LaSalle? Mr. Guillory? Present. Mr. Parody? Here. Mrs. Black?
Here.
Mr. Mancuso? Here. Ms. Dennis? Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. If you are able to, please stand for the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening, everyone. Would you please bow your heads for a moment of prayer? Father God, we come before your holy presence with thanksgiving and praise for all of the bountiful blessings that you continue to provide to all of us. We thank you for giving your wisdom to Dr. Fagenbush, Mrs. Black, and all other school board members as they make decisions tonight that will allow our school district to excel and prosper. Thank you for keeping our schools and everyone associated as safe as possible. Finally, thank you for blessing and protecting our St. Mary Parish, our state of Louisiana, and most importantly, thank you for continuing to bless and protect our United States of America. We ask these and other blessings in your name, in the name of Jesus, amen.
Every 2 years, the board is tasked with nominating a president and vice president to serve the board, and it is that time of the year that we need to do so again. So at this time, do we have anyone who would like to suggest a process?
Yeah, Dr. Fagenbush, I'd like to make a motion to do the nomination process where we open the floor for nominations, we close the nominations, and then we vote. So I'm looking for a second.
So at this time, I'd like to open the floor then for nominations. I'm sorry, do we have any questions? All those in favor? Okay. So at this time, do we have anyone who would like to nominate a fellow board member for president?
I'd like to nominate Mrs. Black for president.
I'll second.
Do we have any other nominations? So if we have no other nominations, I'd like to make a motion to close the nominations at this time. Motion carries. To Ms. Black. We're going to vote on again? Okay, we just voted 3 times. So we'll vote again. So we'd like to make a motion for Ms. Black to remain as the president of the board. So do we need to vote?
Yes.
By individual?
Motion to close the nomination, so there's only one nominee, but we still need to formally vote on the nominee.
So now there's a motion to vote.
A motion to vote on the nominee.
Do we need to do a roll call or can we do it all in favor? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Ms. Black.
Thank you very much. All right, next up, thank y'all very much for your support and your confidence in me, first of all. Next up, our election of vice president. Any nominations? Ms. Jones?
Yes, I'll make the motion to Lieutenant Moore.
All right, we have a nomination for Ms. Moore. We keep accepting nominations, right? Any other nominations? Any other nominations first? Any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to close nominations? Ms. Dennis makes that motion, Ms. Anselm seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, so now we need a motion for our vice president. We need a vote on her. All right, Ms. Jones makes a motion for Ms. Moore as vice president. Mr. Mancuso seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Ms. Vice President Moore. All right, next up, introduction of students and employees of the month. First up, B.E. Boudreaux Middle School.
Good evening. I'm Alexis Wright, the principal of B.O. Boudreaux Middle School. I have the pleasure of introducing Elisa Eagleston, and her mother is here with us today. Elisa is an 8th grade scholar at B.O. Boudreaux Middle School. She is a member of the book club, cheerleading team, softball team, talent search, talented arts, yearbook club, BEB Wolfpack Health Ambassadors, and BEB Ambassadors. She has received numerous awards while attending BEB Middle School. Those awards consist of Honor Roll, Principal's List, Excellence in all subjects, Perfect Attendance for our cheerleading squad, Most Improved Softball Participation Award, Leader of the Pack Award for maintaining a 3.8 GPA, and of course, this year, she's our Student of the Year. She's, in her spare time, she cheers, she draws, she plays softball, she spends times with family. And Elisa is a leader at B.O. Boudreaux Middle School, and she leads by example. So it's an honor to present our Student of the Month, Elisa Eagleston. For Teacher of the Month, I have the pleasure of introducing Ms. Michelle Colley. And she's here tonight with her family. And y'all can wave or stand, one of the two. It's hard to get everyone to stand. Ms. Colley teaches 6th and 7th grade science. She is the webmaster. She's the content leader for science. And she's the 7th grade team leader at BEB Middle, along with a few other things that are not listed. She holds a Bachelor of Science from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, and a Master of Arts in Educational Technology from Louisiana State University at Shreveport. Before beginning her teaching career at BEB in 2017, she was an arts educator, teaching ballet, tap, and jazz for 20 years. In 2018, she earned her alternative certification through iTeach. Ms. Colley advocates for meeting students' basic needs as a prerequisite for effective learning. She emphasizes the importance of validation as individuals, alongside the implementation of student-centered learning and responsive teaching practices. In recognition of her outstanding contributions to education, she was honored as Teacher of the Year in 2020 and was designated a VAM 4 teacher for the 23-24 school year. And of course, this year, she's currently our Teacher of the Year for BEB Middle. Ms. Colley is definitely one of the leaders at BEB Middle School. She is always willing to fill in any gaps without being asked for the benefit of all our scholars. At the end of the day, Ms. Colley isn't packing up to go home. She is waiting for any athletes or band students to come stop by her room, just in case they might want a snack before they go to practice. So these are the things that makes BEB a family and a second home for our scholars. So I'm honored to present Ms. Michelle Colley as our Teacher of the Month.
Next up, Berwick High School.
I'm Tony Lynn, I'm principal at Berwick High School. I'm here first to introduce our student of the month. Our Berwick High School student of the month is Miss Riley Nguyen. She's accompanied by her grandmother, Miss Dawn Morkenthal. Riley has been named a Power Cat of the Month multiple times here at Berwick High School. She has been nominated even more times for being helpful, spreading positivity, and being kind to everyone. She has also won the Citizenship Award at her time and also won multiple academic awards for her high GPA in her grade level. Riley stays active as she has been involved in several clubs with BHS. She has been an interacting art club member for 2 years. She is currently the vice president of the Beta Club and our Hope Squad. Riley was also voted student council president for her senior year. Riley shines academically across all content areas as she has over a 4.0 GPA and is on pace to be a front row graduate in May. After high school, Riley will attend a 4-year university where she plans on majoring in forensic psychology. Though we are all excited to see Riley move on and accomplish her future goals, everyone at BHS will miss her. We'll miss her bright smile, her kindness, and willingness to help BHS be a better place for the faculty and students. I present to you Berwick High School Student of the Month, Ms. Riley Nguyen. Berwick High School's Teacher of the Month, Ms. Camille Izagari, is accompanied tonight by her husband, Carlos. Ms. Izagari has spent her entire 24 years of teaching at Berwick High School. She currently teaches our Spanish and French classes. She has been asked this year to teach all 4 blocks throughout the day for both semesters, which she does with no complaints. She had a rare day off today when we were testing juniors for work keys, so she enjoyed it. During the time at BHS, she has served as the school's head cross-country coach and is currently in her 3rd year as our assistant swim coach. Ms. Izagari also serves as a co-sponsor to our Beta Club. She teaches with passion and excitement. Her goal is to show her students a world outside of Berwick High School and the United States. She wants her students to experience as much as they can from another culture despite being confined to a classroom. Ms. Izagari wants to help her students be prepared for their future post-graduation. She believes in modeling essential behaviors for her students, such as coming to prepare for work every day. She is always one of the first faculty members to show their school spirit by participating in pep rallies. She loves the dance competitions, or coming to our athletic events to support our student athletes. She is definitely well-deserving for how much she puts in. On top of teaching the 4 blocks, she stays after school well after hours to ensure that she's prepared for the next day and puts a lot of work in. Is one of the first to volunteer if we need somebody to do something. Again, I present to you Berwick High School's Employee of the Month, Ms. Camille Izagari.
Next up, Franklin High School.
So Miss Alarian Fuselier is representing Franklin Senior High School as the Student of the Month. She was unable to be with us last month and again this month because she's super fabulous and she's involved in everything. So unfortunately, her FFA state responsibilities are at the same time every month when our board meeting is. So she will be unable to be with us, but we do want to thank Miss Alarian Fuselier for everything she does for Franklin Senior High School.
Next up, Raintree Elementary School.
Good evening. I'm Raintree Elementary's Assistant Principal Hollis Wilson. I'm standing in for the Principal Marie Cole. I present to you this evening our Student and Teacher of the Month. I want to thank you for this opportunity to recognize Raintree's Student and Teacher of the Month. Raintree's Student of the Year is Catalea Mitchell, who is also our Student of the Month. She is accompanied by her mother, Megan Tabb, and many family members. Catalea, your family would like you to know that they are extremely proud of you, and you can do anything that you set your mind to, and there is no dream that you cannot achieve. Catalea is a 5th grade student this year. She has been an honor roll student since kindergarten. She has been an active 4-H member for the last 3 years. At Raintree, she is also a member of the Beta Club and Eaglets. In addition, she loves to cook and spend time with her family. She is an active member of her church and is involved with the Little Paths Baptist Church youth group. School is very important to Catalea. When she grows up, she wants to become a veterinarian. Teachers at Raintree say that Catalea is very smart, sweet, and a great role model to others. She is willing to help and has just the right amount of confidence to make a great difference in people's lives. Thank you, Catalea, for being such an awesome individual and a role model for all of those around you. I am also pleased to introduce Raintree's Teacher of the Year and Teacher of the Month, Kim Meir. She is accompanied today by her husband, Ross. Mrs. Meir is one of our 4th grade teachers, and she has taught for 25 years. Before coming to Raintree, she taught at LaGrange Elementary. In her free time, Mrs. Meir likes to read, spend time with her family, and is currently studying Spanish. She likes to help others, especially our children, so teaching seemed like her destiny. Her love for students shows through her hard work and dedication. Her colleagues say that she is very helpful, she gives great advice, goes the extra mile for any child, and is always, always, always there to help. She is truly one of the best. We want to thank you, Ms. Meir, for being such an inspiration to our students, our faculty, and our staff at Raintree, and we love you. And we love you too, Catalea.
right, next up, under appearances, recognition of district and support staff of the year, district support staff of the year. Ms. Estes.
Good evening. I'm proud to present some amazing employees this evening. We'll start with Mr. Jimmy Johnson. You want to come up? Gibson, I'm sorry. I don't know why I want to call you Johnson. Sorry. Mr. Gibson, as Ms. Black said, is our middle school support personnel of the year. He is a custodian at B. Edward Woodrow and has been in St. Mary Parish for 27 years. He was chosen as a support personnel of the year for the following qualities. He's motivated, responsible, independent, and has excellent time management. He's passionate about contributing to the school's targets and objectives. He is safety conscious, and he's dedicated. He supports the school's extracurricular activities and its academics. He is mentors in both the community and in the school. He volunteers for school events and donates supplies as needed. He brings a positive, measurable change to both the community and the school. He has great leadership skills. He does a great job expanding others' academic interest, athleticism, and increases their overall success. He is contributing to promoting individuals to succeed as productive citizens in today's society. So as you hear, he is not only dedicated to his job responsibilities, but he's dedicated to the students, the faculty, and the staff at B. Edward Woodrow. I think I heard you say you were trying to retire, but Ms. Rack's not letting you. Keep at it, Ms. Rack. So Mr. Gibson, on behalf of St. Mary Parish School Board, I want to thank you for everything you do for the students and the staff. Ladies and gentlemen, our middle school support personnel of the year, Mr. Jimmy Gibson.
Next, recognition of school health provider of the year.
Our school health provider of the year is Mr. Ricardo Rosado. Mr. Rosado is a nationally certified school psychologist. He received his Bachelor's of Art in Psychology with a sociology minor, his specialist degree in school psychology, and his master's in psychology counseling, all from Nicholls State University. He worked for Lafourche Parish School District for 30 years, where he started as a pupil appraisal behavioral specialist and then a school psychologist, and then came to St. Mary Parish in 2023 as school psychologist. He has completed many certifications, such as the Louisiana Department of Education Trainer of Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports, the Louisiana Department of Education Restorative Practices, Crisis Prevention Institute Nonviolent Crisis Intervention Trainer, which we call a CPI, IEP Facilitator, and Prepare, which is a school crisis prevention and response. He is not only valuable for all his trainings, but also for all his work he does through our special education department and the support he gives our students within the schools. In St. Mary, he completes threat assessments for schools, assists schools with de-escalation strategies, and is a part of the district's emergency crisis management team. We are thankful to have such a highly qualified employee in the area of our special education department and school psychology. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ricardo Rosado.
recognition of District High School Student of the Year.
You want me to still? Okay.
And so for, that's Miss Ilarian. She's super fabulous. She's in Baton Rouge right now with her FFA state officer training and support. So if you want to just say a little bit about her.
Okay. So Miss Ilarian Fuselier is a 12th grade student at Franklin Senior High School. She's the daughter of Miss Anna Crosby and Joseph Howard Jr. She's a dedicated student to her school. She's an active member of the Hornet Pride Pep Club, Beta Club, JAG, basketball and track teams, and most notably, the school's FFA club. She credits her ag science teacher and her FFA club with helping her build self-confidence, encourage her to embrace and be herself, while also expanding her leadership skills. At Franklin High School, she serves as the school's FFA vice president, and as Dr. Fagenbush said, she was elected as the state president for the Louisiana FFA, where she represents 13,000 FFA members across the state of Louisiana. In FFA, her dedication has resulted in exemplary leadership skills and multiple awards for herself and the club. Beyond this, she also serves as a youth leader for her church and participates in services to her community through several organizations. It is safe to say that her magnetic personality, bright smile, excellent communication skills, and academic success will help her lead a bright future beyond the schools of St. Mary Parish. I would like to add that watching her at the school on the times I was able to, she is a very confident young lady, and as her principal said, her smile really brightens up the room. So I'm confident she will continue to do great things in the years to come. Thank you.
Next, recognition of District Teacher of the Year.
Okay. We have two Teachers of the Year. One is Middle School Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Kelly Summerall, sorry. Yeah, okay. She's an 8th grade teacher at Berwick Junior High, sorry. She has been a member of the St. Mary Parish School Board team for 12 years. Ms. Summerall completed her teaching degree through alternate certification. She earned her Master's of Art in Teaching in 2015 from Nicholls State University, and she's currently enrolled in Northwestern State pursuing her certification as school librarian. She started her journey in education as a paraprofessional at Morgan City High School. She started her teaching career at Berwick Junior High as an English language arts teacher and now teaches science. She sponsors the Quiz Bowl team. She is the school web administrator. She's creator of Berwick Junior High's yearbook. In addition, she serves as the school leadership team and the PBIS committee. Her Teacher of the Year quote is, "Middle school chaos, guiding through kindness." Ladies and gentlemen, St. Mary Parish's Middle School Teacher of the Year, Ms. Kelly Summerall. Our next Teacher of the Year is Ms. Lexi Lambert. She is St. Mary Parish's new Teacher of the Year. For new Teacher of the Year, you have to have less than 1 year of experience. So this is a pretty remarkable accomplishment. She's in her first year of teaching. She teaches kindergarten at Bayou Vista Elementary. Her goal is to show students patience, kindness, support, and love through teaching and building relationships that last a lifetime. A hope for Ms. Lambert is that her students will apply the same values inside and outside of the classroom. She is on the Positive Behavior Intervention and Support Team. She's a member of the Family and Literacy Night Committee, and she is also a part of the Red Ribbon Committee. Her quote for the state competition: "If you show children love, support, and patience, they can succeed in every aspect of their lives." We look forward to watching Ms. Lambert grow as a teacher in the years to come. She is definitely off to a great start, and to be the new Teacher of the Year with less than a year experience, and she's already rated as an effective teacher, is an awesome accomplishment. Ladies and gentlemen, St. Mary Parish New Teacher of the Year, Ms. Lexi Lambert.
And we'll have her plaque for the next meeting, but we definitely want to get a picture with you at this time. We're going to pretend that this has your name on it. She looks like that, so you know.
She is. And I'm sorry, I know she has family and friends and colleagues here, so if y'all please stand and be recognized.
And last will be our recognition of District Principal of the Year.
Last but certainly not least, Ms. Debbie Domain. Ms. Domain is principal at Berwick Elementary. She's been an educator for 25 years. 25 years of an educator? Okay, go. Your whole education career has been 25 years. Okay. She graduated from Nicholls State University way back in 1998 with a degree in elementary education. She earned her leadership degree in 2002. She started her teaching career at Shannon Elementary, teaching 4th and 5th grade, then moved to Centerville High School, where she continued to teach 4th grade until she was brave enough to move to the middle school. From 2007 to 2011, she was an instructional facilitator for the district. She then was promoted to assistant principal in 2011 at Berwick Elementary. In 2012, promoted to principal, where she has been for the last 13 years. I can say, as one of her former administrators, she's dedicated and she has a great sense of humor. Although she may be petite, what she offers the students, the school, and the teachers is huge. And just a fun fact, she shares a birthday with the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to present St. Mary Parish Principal of the Year, Ms. Debbie Domain. Yeah, that's what. Okay. And she also has her team with her, her friends and family. Please stand and be recognized.
Next is the approval of the official school board minutes from our regular meeting, December 12, 2024. Do I have a motion? Ms. Moore makes a motion. Ms. LaSalle seconds it. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is the approval of the consent agenda. Any board member is able to remove any item from the consent agenda. All remaining items will be voted on together and will constitute the consent agenda. Dr. Fagenbush, please read the items on the consent agenda.
Item number 1, set date, time, and place for regular monthly school board meeting. Number 2, approve bank resolutions authorizing signatories of various schools as a result of recent appointments. 3, approve resolution authorizing signatories on checks and other related financial documents as a result of the newly appointed board president. 4, authorize RFP or negotiation process for property insurance for the year commencing April 1, 2025. 5, authorize RFP or negotiation process for workers' compensation insurance for the year commencing May 1, 2025. 6, permission to advertise for bids. A, child nutrition items, produce, milk, eggs, juice, small equipment, large equipment, frozen foods, dry and canned goods, paper, and cleaning supplies. 7, proclamations. A, African American History Month, February 2025. B, Career and Technical Education, CTE Month, February 1st to the 28th, 2025. C, National FFA, Future Farmers of America Week, February 15th through the 22nd, 2025. D, National Public Schools Week, February 24th through the 28th, 2025. E, National School Counseling Week, February 3rd through the 7th, 2025. And F, National School Resource Officer Appreciation Day, February 15th, 2025.
What are the wishes of the board? Ms. LaSalle? Any other items? Okay, so the rest we'll vote on as our consent agenda, minus number 1. What are the wishes of the board? Mr. Mancuso makes a motion. Ms. Jones seconds. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 1, set day, time, and place for regular monthly school board meeting.
I just believe that we should always put this on the forefront so that it can get on the record and not just assume that it's going to be the same, even though I'm making the motion to keep it just the way it is. I don't think it should be a consent item on the agenda. So I make that motion to keep the date, time, place the same.
Thank you. Ms. Moore seconds. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. So our meetings will continue to be the second Thursday of the month at 5:30 p.m. here in the Evan Medine meeting room. All right, next up, under personnel, number 1, consider and take action regarding purchasing agent job description. Ms. Estes.
Okay, so as Dr. Fagenbush had written the letter, this position would be cost saving, time efficiency, compliance and accountability, and improve the organization. Do y'all want me to read through the letter or? Okay, so it's a purchasing agent position, which was recommended through the audit, and then that way this person would be negotiating prices, taking care of the purchases, because it is basically a full-time position. Any questions? Do you want to add anything, Dr. Fagenbush? Okay.
It's currently not a position. This is a new.
Throughout departments, so this would centralize that process.
Correct.
I'm sorry, he asked who does that currently. Right now, that is spread out throughout departments. And so this would centralize that process and have someone specifically that we could go to and negotiate for us and those things.
Ms. Griffin.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions.
Okay.
Our agenda says that we are approving the job description. Are we approving the job description, or we are giving y'all permission to advertise if we approve it?
If y'all approve it, then we would advertise.
I just don't think the agenda is clear about that. I'd prefer it to say, that we'd be advertising for it. Now, a couple of questions. It says a bachelor degree in business administration, finance, procurement, or related field, and then preferred. Are we preferring that they have a degree in those fields, or are we just preferring that they have a degree in general?
We want them to have a degree in that field.
But do they have to have a bachelor's degree?
Bachelor's degree, yes, ma'am.
So they must have a bachelor's degree?
Yes, ma'am, because it's an indexed position.
Second, also, number 9, it says this position is an approved position for teleworking when there is work available to perform in the event of unexpected office closure. Are we including that on job descriptions now?
Yes, ma'am. For the reason of, like, when COVID came around and we had to do some classes virtual, and then to continue operating when we needed to. So it's not anything extra, it's just in a pandemic situation that we have to continue.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm just going to say this. As a new position, I think this needs to be included in a budget process. Salaries make up most of our budget. And let's not forget that we spent $500,000 last month buying new buses. I want it to be clear. I'm not opposed to the position. As a matter of fact, I agree with the position. What I'm opposed to is doing this now and not at budget time. We have talked about this prior, superintendents, but we don't do it in the middle of the year. We do it at budget time. So that's where I have an issue with this. Also, we're currently advertising for the CFO position, and that Mr. Perry may be retiring. And if that happens, I feel like the new CFO ought to be involved in this. So I just have an issue with doing this now. I'm not opposed to the position. The job description seems fair, but I'm not agreeing with doing it right now.
Okay.
So the reason why this came up once again is this was recommended by Lane Frog, and during that process as a board, it was discussed that this would be a position that we would pursue. Also, with our recent annual audit, there was a verbal
Recommendation.
I guess if we would say suggestion, that this is a position that we would pursue, and from what I understand, that was also stated, that's been a verbal suggestion for many years. So it's just that at this point, because of our needs that we are seeing on an ongoing basis, this has come up. Also, too, we are going to have to come back. Again, as a result of our recent audit, we have realized that because of our federal grant expenditures, we will need to do a budget revision anyway. So at that time, we can add this position and go ahead and make sure we solidify the monies for that. But we do have, I believe, enough funding extra for 4.5 months of what this position would be by the time we would hire someone. So we're not talking about even a full annual salary. We are talking about someone maybe hired in February. So it'll be February, March, April, May, and June that we will look for this budget.
I don't doubt that we have the funding. We had the funding for $500,000 worth of buses last month. That's not the point. This is the kind of thing that should be done at budget time.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none. Ms. LaSalle?
Yeah, I don't know what the options are, and I guess my question is for Ms. Griffin. Do you want us to table it?
No, ma'am, I'm not asking you to do that.
You're just making a comment. Okay.
What are the wishes of the board? Ms. Brent?
This thing, okay, I'm sorry. The position is only being funded for 4.5 months, is that correct? Of the current budget, yeah, of the.
Correct.
LaSalle?
Well, since we're talking about budget, we have the CFO, and have we asked him, do we have the funds to budget it for the next 4.5 or 5 months? Do we, Mr. Perry?
Yes, we do.
Good question. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, Ms. LaSalle makes that motion. Mr. Parity seconds. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? No. Motion carries. All right, next up, we're going to receive, under Business Affairs, receive Group Health Insurance Update. Mr. Perez.
All right, there we go. Okay, everyone should have in front of them the updated report with data through December 2024. So now we have a complete picture of our utilization and our claims experience for the 2024 plan year. And as you can see, it was a much better claims experience, a much better plan year than 2023. We had $12.8 million of premiums paid in, $11.8 million of total claims paid out, and we had a large claims adjustment for stop loss for those claims that exceeded the $175,000 attachment point of $790,000. This is why we had only a 2.4% rate adjustment for 2025. To break it down a little bit further, our medical claims actually decreased 16.5% compared to last year. However, prescription drug claims increased 25% compared to 2023. In fact, of the 85 large claims that were incurred, and those are claims over $25,000 in 2024, 34 of them were pharmacy-related claims. And to break that down a little bit further, I don't know if you recall in 2023, me expressing my concern about the group's spend on the GLP-1 drugs. Those would be the three main, Mounjaro, Ozempic, and Jardiance. And in 2023, we were concerned because it was $835,000 of drug spend just on those three drugs. And that accounted for 19% of the total drug spend. That was 2023. 2024, for those three drugs alone, we spent $1.3 million, just $1,377,294 on those three drugs alone. That was a 65% increase over what we spent in 2023, and it accounts for 25% of what we spend total on drugs. So what is causing the popularity of these GLP-1s? It's pretty much as close as you can get to a miracle drug in treating weight loss and treating diabetes. Very popular drug across the country. However, the high cost of those drugs are threatening to destabilize plans, especially public plans, state plans throughout the country. In fact, many of the larger plans are dropping coverage for GLP-1s altogether. They have a huge benefit. You know, it would be a shame for groups to have to do this because it does benefit the group over the long term, but it's really unaffordable for most plans. The Wegovy and Ozempic are manufactured by a pharmaceutical company in Denmark called Novo Nordisk, and it costs 89 cents a month to manufacture that prescription. The cost for Ozempic in Denmark is $50 a month. In the UK, it's $100 a month. In the US, it's $1,000 a month. And the reason for that, you know, is because, US is the largest and most profitable market, as you can imagine, for these drugs. The problem is the federal government for a long time has made it illegal for Medicare, for example, to negotiate prices. I do anticipate, because this is such a widespread problem, that that's going to change. I expect that the federal government, they're going to do one or two things, or possibly both. I think this next administration, they're all about negotiating. I think they're going to empower some pharmacies or some division of the government to start negotiating pharmaceutical prices. Either that, or there is a patent intervention process they could take, Section 1498, where, and they've done it before, where the federal government, they release the licensing on the patent for the drug to generic companies. And so I expect that that's going to happen at some point in 2025, because it is a far-reaching and serious problem. Sorry if I took up too much of your time with that, but I felt like it was important, because that is the number one issue that's affecting our plan. Where we were fortunate in 2024 that we didn't have a whole lot of medical claims. Well, we had a lot, but compared to 2023, we did see a decrease. We can't continue with a 60% increase in the spend on this drug. That can't go on. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that, and I will keep an eye on it. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do you suggest any alternate plan for us in the meantime, like limiting, narrowing down who can and who cannot use the drug?
We don't have that power. You're a fully insured plan, so yeah, we can't do that.
Do you have any other suggestions?
If the idea does arise where that option is something the federal government is considering, I would suggest reaching out to your Congress people and pressuring them to support. If it goes before Congress as a bill, or as a proposed change in law, I would suggest you reach out to them and pressure them to support it. I think that's the quickest avenue in the near future, is federal government negotiating those prices. Anyone else?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you,
y'all.
Mr.
You have a good
Perez.
evening.
All right, next, approve acceptance of audit report for the year ending June 30th, 2024, as presented by the firm of Darnell, Sykes, Guards, and Frederick. Mr. Chris Miller.
Thank you, Ms. Black. I think everyone has a packet that includes a copy of the audit report. It's rather lengthy, looks like this blue-bound copy. And what I'm going to do is what I'd like to present to you is a high-level overview. Of course, my name's Chris Miller. I'm a CPA with the firm Darnell, Sykes, and Frederick. Our firm has performed the audit of the St. Mary Parish School Board for many years, and I want to provide kind of a high-level overview of the results without getting into a lot of the detail. The report's about 128 pages. We have spent some time in an exit conference last week with Dr. Fagenbush and the financial management team. We've also worked with Mr. Perry through this process. I would point out that there's not a lot of changes that have occurred as a result of the audit. We haven't made many adjustments that have changed the financial information that you've received during your monthly meetings in the past. So it's very similar. The financial information that you have been receiving is very similar to what's presented in the audit report tonight. I'd like to begin by describing the various engagements, and if you kind of bear with me, there's a lot of moving parts to this, but there's a number of different engagements. The actual audit comprises the audit of the financial statements, And included in that audit is some work on internal controls and compliance with laws and regulations that are applicable to the school board by the state of Louisiana, certain state laws that are applicable. And then there's also internal controls and compliance testing that we do as it relates to federal financial assistance. So there's special procedures for that. There's special procedures for state laws, and then there's the overall audit for the financial statements. In addition to all of that, and that's all kind of comprised in the audit, there's 2 additional engagements that we perform, and we refer to those as being agreed upon procedures. There's some BESI testing that we do with the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, reporting that the district presents information to BESI. So we're doing some work, agreed upon procedures in that realm. Additionally, we also have something called statewide agreed upon procedures that we have to do test work on. So there's really like 5 total elements. So I'm going to try to give you a very brief overview of these things and the results of our test work and what we've determined. So I guess the first part is the audit, and I'd like to briefly discuss what an audit is. The audit is designed to determine if the financial statements are free from material misstatements and are accurately presented in accordance with applicable reporting standards. Since an audit is kind of a combination of risk assessments, sampling procedures, confirmations of balances with outside third parties, analytical procedures, analytical tests, it's not designed by its nature to provide absolute assurance. There's no assurance in any audit that everything is totally correct. Typically an audit is going to provide reasonable assurance that the financial statements are not materially misstated. At the culmination of all of our audit procedures and our test work, we as outside auditors have to then determine, does the evidence show what the information that we've gathered, does it show that the financial statements are truly free from material misstatement and accurately represented in the financial statements? And for the current year and all years that we've done the audit, our opinion that's being rendered in the financial statements is what we refer to as an unmodified opinion. It's a clean opinion. It's the highest opinion that I, as a CPA with a CPA firm or any other firm, can present on a set of financial statements. So included in the audit report in pages 1 through 3 is our opinion. Everything else in the 128-page document is actually representation of management. There's 3 pages in there that are our opinions with regard to the audit. As I mentioned earlier, there's an element and an aspect of the engagement that we're reviewing internal controls and compliance requirements that specifically relate to federally funded programs. The part of that engagement requires that we select certain federal funded programs and subject those programs to compliance testing to ensure that the school board is spending those funds in accordance with the federal program specific instructions and compliance requirements. Very detailed testing. Each program has its own compliance requirements. We pull those. We make sure that you're meeting or achieving the appropriate compliance, the appropriate compliance objectives as set forth in the program. For the current year, we had 2 federal programs that were subjected to testing, Child Nutrition Cluster and the Special Education Cluster. The results of those tests, and it's very detailed testing, included no instances of non-compliance and no reportable conditions in internal controls over those funds. So there's an opinion included in the audit report also on pages 104 through 106 that basically provide an unmodified opinion with regard to federally funded programs. I said earlier that we also have, as part of our audit of the financial statements, we also consider the school board's internal control and compliance as it relates to state laws. When we're looking at internal control, we're not rendering an opinion on whether or not the control structure is operating efficiently. We're gaining an understanding, and if we come across anything from an internal control perspective that we deem to be deficiencies or material weaknesses, we're required to report those things. You know, we're tasked with performing tests to determine compliance with state laws. The state laws, some of which are open meeting laws, bid laws, code of ethics for public officials, laws affecting budgeting, local budget act, asset management laws. There's a number of different laws that the school board has to abide by. And our reporting with regard to internal control structure and compliance with state laws is also unmodified. We do have a couple of instances that we are reporting in the audit report, one that relates to internal control and two that relate to two that are going to relate to compliance matters. And I'll kind of go over those, give kind of a general idea of what those items were. The first item that relates to internal control, it's being reported as a result of the ongoing investigation with school student activity funds. Even though this wasn't a part of our overall audit, since there is an ongoing investigation that was made public, we have to, by law, include this as an internal control finding. So it's included in the audit report and cited as a current year finding, just as a matter of practice. I mentioned that there were two items of noncompliance with regard to law, one of which is the Local Government Budget Act. And in this one, this was a kind of a little gray area, but the school board's required to adopt a formal budget for the general fund and all major funds. And over the last few years, there's been something called the ESSER grants, and these were COVID relief funds that the school board has administered over a number of years. There is a budget. The budget was submitted to, I think, the Department of Education. Those funds were spent. They followed the budget. There were no problems following the budget with regard to the Department of Education's budget. The school board, in addition to having the budget with Department of Education, is also required to include a budgetary line item for these funds in their annual operating budget. And these were not included in the operating budget. There was some confusion as to whether they needed to be, since they were already covered by a budgetary, by the budget with the Department of Education. We actually had to contact the Legislative Auditor's Office to get some guidance on this. They did tell us that yes, it should have been included in the budget. So we do have to report it. It's not a willful disregard for the budgetary process or the state law. I find that it's more of an oversight, but nevertheless, we still have to include it, and we've spoken to financial management team about handling these things in the future. The last item is noncompliance with provisions of certain contracts. And when spending federal dollars, there are certain requirements that have to be adhered to whenever you're entering into contracts with vendors and you're spending federal funds. These contracts have to include very specific clauses in them. And you guys really have a third party that handles your contracts for you. And in some cases where we looked at some contracts that did not include certain required clauses. There's a clause for equal employment opportunity, compliance with the Davis-Bacon Act, which is a fair labor standard, termination for cause provisions, and also debarment and suspension clauses. These were 4 areas that are required to be included in these contracts. We noted that there were some contracts that did not have that. So we brought this to Dr. Fagenbush's attention, and the third party that administers the contracts, that prepares the contracts, have been notified and are either going to amend contracts where necessary, and any new contracts that are entered into are going to include the proper provisions. So in an exit conference last week, we discussed these findings with the school board's financial management team and also Dr. Fagenbush in great detail. We spent an hour plus talking about these things. And Dr. Fagenbush and the financial management team have taken action to implement corrective measures to address these findings. So I wanted to let you know that we did have this, we have discussed it, and they are being taken care of. As I mentioned early on, if you can bear with me, just hold on tight. I'm still got a few more things the school board maintains. We basically are just kind of independently verifying that information. We had a few instances, there's a number of things that we do check. We had a few instances where the information that was reported to Bessie relating to the years of experience on teachers and principals, it differed from the PEP report, the profile of educational personnel. It's a report that's maintained that keeps track of those particular years of service. There were some differences. We noted that the differences existed. We provide that to staff, and they're going to make some corrective actions with regard to that. The last thing, back in 2017, the Louisiana Legislative Auditor initiated something called the Statewide Agreed Upon Procedures. We call them, kind of refer to them as SAUPs. And the SAUPs require the school board and any local governments that receive state and local funds to be subjected to some additional procedures for testing that cover specific areas of operations. It's really operational policy type things. Where the legislative auditor was seeing a lot of fraud and waste and abuse coming through in audit reports and non-compliance with things, they wanted to get a feel for who had policies and who didn't. What were they adhering to the policies? So they created these SAUPs that now you're subjected to as an additional level of compliance testing that has to be done. The transactional testing is very specific. The results of this, and this is wide-ranging. It covers a lot of different policies, from credit cards to contracts to travel costs to reimbursements, depositing collections, bank reconciliations, vendor payments, all a litany of things. Fortunately, we had no findings, which is a really good, that's a really good thing. Having no exceptions in this particular area is a very good outcome because it's so broad and far-reaching. So I wanted to make sure to point that out. Couple of things to kind of finish up. As you can tell, the results and the opinions of the audit and the additional engagements, with the exception of the couple of findings, yielded very positive results. From a financial standpoint and budgetary standpoint, the school board operated within its budget, didn't need to amend the budget other than possibly for the issue with the ESSER funds. But I would point out that they had a good financial year. The 128-page document that you have does contain something that's referred to as the management's discussion and analysis. It's pages 5 through 11 of the audit report. It's written, it's kind of an overview. It highlights some of the purely financial aspects of the school board, touches on where some of the revenues come, where you're spending it. It's a high level, kind of a combined type portion of the report. It's written by management. We aid in that. And it's written in layman's terms. You don't have to be an accountant or a CPA to really kind of understand some of the stuff that's in there. So I would say, you know, whenever you have some time as school board members, read through those things. Those pages are very important. In closing, I'd like to thank the financial management team and their efforts in assisting us during our audit. It's a massive undertaking. It's a lot of hours, both on our part and on their part. They work as hard as we do. We're constantly badgering them, asking them for information, and they do a good job of getting that information to us. Also, as I understand, Mr. Perry is contemplating retirement, and I'd like to personally thank him for his many years of assistance that he's provided, and wish him well should he choose to retire. His efforts have been greatly appreciated. And I guess in closing, you know, if anyone has any questions, I'd be willing to field those questions. If not, I want to let you know that we're really grateful for the opportunity to be of service to you. This is again, it's a big job. It's a massive undertaking. We staff this job collaboratively through our Morgan City office, and our Lafayette office. And again, thank you for the opportunity.
Anyone have any questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Number 3, consider and take action with respect to adopting a resolution providing for canvassing the returns and declaring the result of the special elections held in A, Consolidated School District Number 2 of St. Mary Parish, Louisiana, B, Consolidated District Number 3 of St. Mary Parish, Louisiana, and C, 6th Ward Special School District Number 3 of St. Mary Parish, Louisiana, on Saturday, December 7th, 2024, to authorize the renewal of special taxes therein. I believe that's Mr. Perry tonight.
Correct. What we're doing here is, there's a resolution in here, and we're canvassing the returns of the election on December 7th, in which case our 3 maintenance districts all passed favorably. Consolidated School District Number 2, which we know is Maintenance District Number 2, that's Berg by Vista Patterson. 895 votes in favor and 640 against, so $255 favorable in favor. Consolidated School District Number 3, which we know is Maintenance District 1, that's the west end of the parish. Total of 832 votes in favor, 582 votes against, resulting in a majority of 250 votes in favor. And the last is 6th Ward Special School District Number 3, which is Maintenance District 3, that's the Morgan City. A total of 870 votes, 531 against, and for, and 339 against. So all 3 of these passed. Accordingly, they're renewed for an additional 10 years through 2035. And the renewal did not result in any increase to those currently being levied. So I ask that the board approve this. This is the last step to finalize these tax renewals. So I ask the board to approve this document, the resolution.
All right, Ms. Dennis makes a motion to approve. Ms. Jones makes that second. Any discussion or questions? Okay, this will be a roll call vote.
Ms. Brent? Yes. Ms. Moore? Yes. Ms. Anselm? Yes. Ms. Jones? Yes. Ms. Griffin? Yes. Ms. LaSalle? Yes. Mr. Guillory?
Yes.
Mr. Parity?
Yes.
Ms. Black?
Yes.
Mr. Mancuso?
Yes.
Ms. Dennis?
Yes. Motion carries. Number 4, approve change order number 1, asphalt surface for Franklin Senior High School, Berwick High School, and Patterson High School track and field improvements. Mr. Miller?
Good evening, everyone. So they started on the tracks in November, and the first order of business was to start on some of the field events, cleaning out high jump pits. Some of those are getting reworked, and then also removing the existing latex surfacing. When they started pulling the surfacing off of the high jump pads at both Franklin High and Berwick, you could see the asphalt underneath was what we call just dead. The binder course was no longer holding the aggregate together. So as they were sweeping it, the rocks were just kind of peeling off, and there were cracks, and it was really starting to deteriorate. Those tracks, I don't know, Brad, the age on them. I know Patterson track is 20 plus years. So when they started removing the surface from the tracks, we were finding the same thing. So over the years, when the latex surfacing was replaced, there was some patching done, but over time, as the latex surfacing deteriorates, that top surface of the asphalt starts breaking down. So they were sweeping it, they swept it off, and they said, look, we're seeing a lot of rock getting pulled off of the top. So we swept it again, and it was still getting a lot of rock. So the concern is, if you come back and try and bind something to a surface that's not stable, that the money you spend now would peel off. And you have it's a 5-year warranty per the specification. You have tolerances of really 1/8 of an inch. They can go up to 1/4 of an inch in variation. But we have areas that are up to an inch, where there's gouges that are just coming out of the tracks. So the change order we're asking for is to go in and do a 1.5-inch overlay on all 3 tracks, and then also reconstructing the high jump pads at both Franklin High and Berwick. And so the total that we're requesting is $383,042. And that'll come in and do a, a regrade on the entire track on all 3 of them, 1.5-inch overlay on all 3. And that'll give you a solid surface that we know the material can bind to. And everything that we see on these urethane tracks, even though it's a 5-year warranty, with the proper base on them, you're gonna get 15 to 20 years out of these tracks. And I think the latex, you were 7-ish years you were having to do work to them. So this will really put you in a position where these tracks they'll be done for a long time. So if there's any questions?
You, sir, but this involves all 3 maintenance districts. Do we vote as a? It doesn't involve this, so do we break it into districts, or everybody vote at once, or what?
So quick question to maybe help clarify that. That price is a total price. Do you have it broken down by school?
I do.
Because that's gonna affect
Yeah, I
by
do.
maintenance district, right?
It's,
Thank you.
so
That's what you were asking.
the Berwick high jump pad is $26,727, and the Berwick track overlay is $110,163. The Patterson overlay is $100,473. For Patterson, $100,473.
That doesn't answer the question, how do we vote for it?
The Franklin high jump is $26,727.
It's all maintenance funds.
Yeah,
And the Franklin overlay is $118,952.
So the overlays are practically the same amount.
Yeah, because it's based on the square footage and the thickness, and so the tracks are,
Tracks are all the same size.
they're pretty much the same size. There's a little variation in them.
Right.
And then the 2 high jump pads are
Pretty much
basically the same size, yeah.
Right. Okay. And the foundation underneath that, I guess the earth itself, I mean, we're good. The inch
Yeah,
and a
so
half is
they-
enough is my question.
Yeah, so and I don't remember for sure on the Patterson track, but I think we did like a 4-inch asphalt, and it's on a limestone base. So they rode around with, they had a skid steer, they had tractors, so they put some equipment on there. So the contractor who's doing this work works with a asphalt contractor who he knows can get the tolerances that he needs to get the finish. Because I did talk to some other contractors that we work with for road projects, and they really don't want to mess with tracks because you're dealing in, tight situations. It's hard to configure how you're going to do the work. So it really takes kind of a specialty contractor who's used to doing that type of work.
Right. So, Mr. Perry, I'm sorry. Would those funds come from the individual schools' maintenance,
The maintenance districts, yes, sir.
From the maintenance district?
Yeah,
Okay.
District
Not
2
the school and the maintenance district?
Yeah, the maintenance district 2
This,
would
this
cover.
should have been brought before the maintenance district, though. Why is it being brought to the full board?
Well,
Now
in
we
my-
know how to vote for it.
in my humble opinion, if you go before the full board, on something like this, you're accomplishing the same thing. Because the full board has to ratify the maintenance district vote anyway.
But he just had a lot of questions, and I'm just, next time for protocol, just don't do it like this. It has to be a maintenance.
What's the status of the project right now?
So right now, it's under construction, so they can still work on the field events. So they are making a little bit of progress, but at this point, nothing can be done until this base work is addressed.
So we're speaking about Berwick, Patterson, and Franklin.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So can we afford, like each one of the maintenance districts, can they afford I just know,
I mean, it's a little tighter in District One,
exactly.
but I mean, I think it has to be done. I think it was time sensitive. And if you guys want, I can come back, I can crunch the numbers and possibly come back and see about next meeting, transferring some funds to the maintenance districts. We had a pretty decent year financially, so that would be the time to do it. So I can come back on that. But yeah, I mean, they can afford it right now, but it is, District One's a little tighter for sure.
Yeah, that's $145,679.
My question is there other work on this project other than the track going on?
The only thing is just some field event work.
So the track is the primary?
The track is the primary.
And right now, the contractor is able to do other things other than the track,
But he's going to be,
we're gonna get to a point where if those items are done, the main point of the project is the track, and the contractor is gonna then be at a standstill.
that's correct.
The price on this is good for how long?
I mean,
30 days,
I'm
50
sure it's
days?
easily good for
I mean, we don't
for
want to have
30
to
days.
mow out and then mow back in.
No,
With all this
no,
equipment, there'll be an additional cost for that.
No, the idea was to come in and just and move from one track to the next.
Correct.
And do them all. So even if there was a weather window or whatever, I mean, his price is going to be held through the duration of this
Right, so
this
we need to make
contract.
a motion and move on this then.
And it's gonna be split between District One, we're gonna take a vote, and District Two, we're gonna take a vote. So
Great.
just kind of be aware of that.
I have a question. Completion date. If we do go forward, what would be the expected completion date? And if not, then
So we're, when he installs the asphalt, there's a 14-day waiting period before you can install the urethane. I don't remember for sure what our date was on completion, but this has him backed up probably a month just because of the holidays. We found this right before Christmas. So we're looking to try and have him finished up, we're pushing really for February, the end of February. But it's going to take a little time just in getting this work completed.
because I'm considering track season and
Yeah, I mean, any weather delays we have is going to really push us against track season. So that's why we're trying to get things moving as quickly as we can.
All right. Any other questions? Ms. Moore?
So it sounds like it's mandatory anyway, though. Like, it doesn't seem like we really have a way around it.
There are some options if you would, potentially you could lessen the thickness. I mean, the asphalt has to be done. Because even if you go to a different material, if you do a latex, if you go to maybe a thinner surface, you still have to have a good base to bind to. So no matter what, the asphalt component has to be installed. We did talk to the contractor about maybe instead of doing this particular system, which gets you about a half inch of track thickness, which is what they put in Morgan City, you could take off one of the layers with the idea that you would come back at a later date and maybe put that last layer on. But you don't know what that price would be later on, and, so it's really, it's one of those things that it's kind of a pay me now, pay me later.
And if you don't get it done, your ability of the track is
That's correct.
compromised. It doesn't want to.
Correct.
The warranty that would come with the new project, I'm assuming that warranty is going to exclude any defects that would be in the subgrade on this surface that they're putting in.
Well, and that's really one of the reasons that we want to put this new base course in, is because now that 5-year warranty, he's installing that base, and then, or his subcontractor is going to install that base, and then he's putting his urethane material on top of it. So,
The base was not part of the original job, correct?
correct.
So now the school board's on notice that you got issues with the base. So if you come back and say, okay, we're gonna leave the base as is, and we're gonna come back and put our new layers on top of it, if that base starts to fail and then compromise the new layers that you're putting on, they're gonna say our warranty doesn't cover this because it was a failure of the existing base, not our product that we.
So
when you roll up the old asphalt, are y'all gonna take a blade in there and roll everything back up and then recompact it down?
No, because the asphalt that's there right now is still, it's still a good base material to apply a new layer on top of. So it's really, it's an overlay like you would see just on a street. When they have if you have a road that's not in terrible condition, they'll come and put an overlay on top. That asphalt can bind to the asphalt below it because it has a temperature requirement. So the two products can bind together. The urethane can't bind to an asphalt that's unraveling, because when they come back and redo before they put the new asphalt on, they'll put a tack coat, and then the heat between the new asphalt, the tack coat, and the old asphalt binds those two surfaces together. So the problem we were having was with the surface that's currently there, you're using a urethane glue. And then if that top layer of asphalt wants to peel off, that urethane is gonna pull the top surfacing off. There's nothing else to give it a chemical bond to keep the two layers together. So the current asphalt that's there, if this was a road and you would go look at it, you would say, this is a typical parish road. It doesn't visually look that bad until you really start scratching on it and seeing that top.
So everything after that, you're getting to the proper grade that it's supposed to be without rolling it back?
Yes, ma'am.
Has it been inspected as is, and will it be inspected after, before you lay that top layer on?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Mr. Miller, what condition are the tracks in today? Are they usable?
Right now, there's no surfacing on, they're strictly just
Okay,
asphalt.
so they're not usable
They're
right
not
now?
usable, no.
So we need to get, track season starting, practice and everything else. So, yeah. Okay, that's what I want to know, if they were usable at all currently, because we're so close to track season. To put it off till, June, but we can't.
No.
So, okay, cool.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, District 1. What are our wishes, District 1? All right, Ms. Moore makes a motion, Ms. Jones seconds it. Any other discussion or questions?
That's for Franklin.
This is only for Franklin Senior High from District 1 maintenance. The total was 145,679. Okay. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. No, we all have to vote on it. Are you and I? Yeah. All right. Next, we're going to consider District 2, Berwick High School and Patterson High School. What are the wishes of the board? Ms.
Make a
Griffin.
motion that we approve the change order for District 2.
Okay, Ms. Griffin makes that motion. Ms. Anselm seconds. Any questions or just what is the total? My question is, what is the total on that one?
Two. 237,363.
237,363.
363.
All right. Any questions or discussion?
They always have the most.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Thank y'all, and we will get moving as quickly as possible to hopefully get everybody ready for track season.
All right. Thank you very much.
Please don't do like this again.
Yes, that would have been much easier. All right, next, number 5, consider and/or take action to increase school board members and school board president compensation. Ms. LaSalle.
I make a motion that to follow the trend of the majority of Louisiana's public school boards to increase St. Mary Board's pay to $800 a month for board member and $900 a month for president.
Okay, I have a motion from Ms. LaSalle and a second from Ms. Moore. Any questions or discussion? Okay, this will be a roll call vote. It also requires 2/3 vote, so we will need 8 votes.
I request that we randomly do it.
Okay? Like random districts called, okay?
Ms. Anselm?
Yay.
Ms. LaSalle?
Yes.
Ms. Black?
Yes.
Ms. Brent?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin? Mr. Mancuso?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Dennis? Mr. Parity?
No.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Guillory?
Yes.
9 votes yes, 2 no, passes.
I had one no.
All right, motion carries. All right, next up, staff reports. Number 1, Franklin Junior High School renovations update. Mr. Wise.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry about the confusion with the tracks. That was kind of something that came up right before we left for Christmas break, and we was just really trying to get it on the agenda one way or the other. And yes, we probably should have done some maintenance committee meetings with that, but I figured we had enough going on, and I just kind of tried to. But I thank y'all for working through all that. Okay. I kind of want to give a little update on the Franklin Junior High project, which has been a monumental task for us to take on. Kind of give you a little background on how this all started. Back in July of 2023, we started the design phase of this, where we hired an architect, Grace Hebert, out of Lafayette, Baton Rouge, Morgan, New Orleans, and all that. A big firm to do this for us, and in all doing that, you know, with ESSER funds and trying to go through all of the ramifications and all the ins and outs of ESSERs. July of 23, we started the process. We actually interviewed our contractors in October of 23, where we actually selected our local contractor, ARL Construction Company, out of Franklin, Louisiana, to spur on us in this Seymour project, where we can start this project. We did some construction negotiations, which took us all the way up into January of 2024. Trying to get the contract settled down, trying to figure out what we're gonna do with the building and how we're gonna do the building and everything else. We didn't start construction until March of 2024, which gave us to today about a 9-month window to renovate 50,000 square feet of building and over 2,000 square feet of new construction. A lot of work. I have Mr. Veed kind of running through some pictures of some of the work, I guess, as I talk, and it's kind of self-explanatory on what we're getting. But we got a new roof over the whole entire structure of the building. That was done through our first phases of ESSERs, when we did all of the roofing project. So everything that we've renovated has a brand new roof over it. We also, in this project, have all new plumbing. We have all new electrical with a state-of-the-art lighting system in all of the classrooms. So as you walk into the classrooms, the lights continuously progress to come on, and they turn off when nobody's in the room. So very sophisticated and nice. We have a brand-new fire alarm system. We have a brand-new intercom system throughout the building, including the high school side. We have all-new internet, all-new Promethean boards. We have a brand-new camera system. You saw the brand-new wooden gym floors that came out beautifully with all of the new logos, a new bus canopy, and all new HVAC systems. So you can see some of the pictures that I just randomly took yesterday just to show you all brand-new furniture, and it's just a wonderful deal. All brand-new bathrooms. We have 12 brand-new bathrooms. If you'd have saw the bathrooms when we started, they were bad. Well, it would have been a lot. It would have been too much. I didn't want to bore you with a bunch of pictures. I could have took hundreds. But I just wanted to show a couple of pictures of a brief overview of how the building looks. So, thank y'all. Thank y'all. And I think we are trying to move in. We're not trying. We are moving in on the 21st, which is the day after Martin Luther King Day, which is gonna be the start of, so that'll be our start. We're gonna start moving Monday. I'm gonna give them the rest of the week, because we still have contractors in the building, and I hate mixing contractors with our business. So I'm gonna give them till Monday. We're gonna start moving as we can the stuff for the teachers that will let stuff go. We're gonna start taking. We have Thursday, I think we're gonna start doing cafeteria stuff, because right after lunch. And Friday, we have a virtual day where there's no kids there. So Friday, we're moving. And if we need to move Saturday, we need to move Sunday. We have the day off Monday. So I got 4 days to make sure that we get everything settled and situated in that building.
I have one question for you. Do you have some Asper cream for after you're finished moving all of these things? How about a massage or a chiropractor setup?
We got people. I got people. I got a bunch of good guys. They're gung-ho. They're wanting. They're eager. And we're going to make it happen. Thank y'all.
That is just absolutely beautiful, and I told Dr. Fangenbush, I don't think I've seen you smile so much in any of your reports ever. So thank you to Mr. Wise and his department for making this happen, and all the staff. This is gorgeous. Thank you.
I have a question, Dr. Fangenbush. I'm sorry. When is the transition for the schools? They did this already? Oh, the 21st is the transition? Okay, that's what I want to know.
Yes, ma'am. We will be notifying families tomorrow that for next Friday, the students will be on virtual learning day so that we can begin the move Thursday after school. And then teachers were there for the first day of in-servicing, so they got to walk around and see which room is theirs and claim their space. And then we are going to have the kids go in this next week just for a small period so they can see the building, get the layout, talk about the procedures, and they'll do about grade level. Yes, ma'am.
I just really quickly wanted to say, I rode by Norman as well, and it is looking fabulous. Thank you for that, too.
It's people on a roll. All right, next, our Chief Financial Officer's report. Mr. Perry.
I don't have anything that exciting to discuss, but on our sales tax, we're 6 months through the year, and this month we took a little bit of a hit. We collected 1.8 million versus 2 million budget, but overall we're still in good shape because of audits. Our financial statements are in for the general fund through 12/31. And other significant items, I just want to mention a couple of things. Our mileage reimbursement that the IRS puts out went from 67 cents to 70 cents. So any travel from January 1st forward is that. We do have it updated on the system to where there's both the old forms for travel up till 12/31 and for the new forms. And additionally, I'm going to try to get something together for next month. regarding a timeline for the 0.45% sales tax. That's the last renewal we'll have. You know, the timeline so the board can pick the dates we want to, you know, when we want to try to put it on a ballot. So I'll try to have that for the next meeting and get some input from you guys. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Perry.
I do have a question going back, if it's okay. On the, what is the effective date of the board member compensation increase? Well, it's not my call, but, yeah, I mean, that's up to y'all. You just need to tell us.
Next month.
So the January coming up, you want it on there? The paycheck coming up? Okay.
All right. Superintendent's report, Dr. Fagenbush.
All right, I'd like to welcome everyone back for the third 9 weeks and second half of the school term. Our high school students have begun new class schedules as they begin their spring block classes. Student report cards were sent home yesterday for all students, and I would like to take this opportunity to remind parents and guardians that the Student Progress Portal is available to all families who register. Through the portal, student grades, attendance, assessments, and discipline records can be accessed on a 24/7 basis. Anyone needing help registering can get more information on our district webpage or reach out to the school site. As always, parents and guardians are encouraged to reach out to school sites with any questions or concerns you may have. The St. Mary Parish School System Transportation Team will be offering free CDL classes January 27th through January 30th. Information about the course is available on our district website. We're also thrilled to announce that 5th grader Maya LaSalle of Berwick Elementary and 8th grader Isaac Price of Morgan City Junior High School have been selected as Region 3 Regional Student of the Year honorees. Both will move forward to compete for state-level recognition. We are incredibly proud of them both and wish them the best of luck moving forward. I'd also like to remind the public that school districts are required to post annual budgets and annual audit reviews. I would like to note at this time that both of those are available on our district website, so the full report that was received by the board is also posted on our district website for anyone to review. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Can we get a motion to adjourn following the resolution of respect? Ms. Anselm makes that, we don't have any resolutions of respect, so Ms. Anselm makes the motion, Ms. Brent makes that second. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.